Hey guys, it's your girl Coco Kizzy back at it with another video, and it is Zeta Confidential Mondays, guys. It is our first meeting since the zimmy breakup, as far as everyone telling their sides and everyone getting their stories out. So it was only fitting for me that Zeta would do a blog on the fear of it all and walking in that fear in uncomfortable spaces and kind of allowing yourself to be vulnerable and transparent, even when it's fearful, even when it's not a safe space. So I want to break that down and kind of what that looks like. And it's going to be real today because we need to have some real conversations. So we're going to tap into that and we're going to break it down. But before we get started, I need to make sure that you are a part of the family, that you've clicked that button, that you are subscribed to the channel. And if you are already subscribed, guys, you don't know what you meant to me this week. I definitely have leaned into you guys more than you may even realize. So I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for the support. Let's get into why it's been a hell of a week, guys. So this week, we'll start off with Zeta and Timmy. Zeta and Timmy, anytime we have public figures break up, we know that it's going to be a divide. It comes with the territory. People pick sides. But what I saw was so much breaking and tearing down of one another and people. What I saw was, from Zeta fans to Timmy fans to people in between, people going after Timmy's sister. On top of that, I was inspired to do a video about Murad Merali, who is a controversial figure. And I knew that it could come with backlash. I'm not naive to that fact. Anytime you do any kind of video about anybody who, is polarizing, it comes with the territory. But in saying that, while I got a lot of support, fine, and y'all know I welcome you people. We don't all have to agree on the same thing. That's how we learn and grow. But in saying that, I did get a lot of things in my inbox, and I was called everything but a child of God, y'all, okay? Also this week, my son was bullied and taunted in ways that a mother, it made me feel very uncomfortable and sad. And where he is a minority, and yet he was bullied by a minority. And of course, the bigger of all of that was the Tyree Nichols video being released. I did not watch it. I could not watch it. If you're not familiar with the Tyree Nichols case, he was a young man from Memphis, Tennessee, who was brutally beaten by 5 police officers, and tragically he died a few days later due to his injuries. And in saying that, the common denominator of all of that was it was us. It was us. And that broke my heart. And I put so much emphasis on it because, particularly in my video with Murad, what triggered a lot of people who considered him to be a racist was I kept hearing the word community, even in my inbox, community. As a black woman, how could you bitch this, da. And I kept thinking, wow, and then as I thought about this black man losing his life to 5 black officers, as I thought about my son being in this space where he is a minority, not being bullied by the majority, but he's being bullied by the minority, then I looked at all the people that were tearing down Zeta, that were tearing down Timmy. It was us. And I was like, what is it about us that we cannot love on one another? And that does not mean we're always going to like each other. It doesn't mean that we always got to share the same space. But how can we talk in love? How can we not constantly be so comfortable tearing one another down? It's okay not to like somebody, but how can we change our approach? How can we be passionate, but yet not be ugly? It's gotten to the point, honestly, where if I was an oppressor, the oppressor could step back because we are doing a hell of a job on our own with ripping each other and breaking each other down unnecessarily. And I used it really was triggering. I used the example with Murad and so much of the feedback that I got of the people who did not agree with me, especially in my inbox. Not one did not call me out of my name. Not one. But yet I was constantly being told about these communities and how we need to, we're going to uplift the races, but we need to do this. And I was just like, well, how can you come at me talking about, as Black women, we need to do this and uplift the community, yet you don't even know how to talk to me in love, sister? How? How? And this is not to diminish Murad in any way, shape, or form, because, I still stand with him. But what bothers me, taking him out the equation, when we talk and I hear about how so many other people of different races, different spaces, let me back up. First of all, I want to say what frustrates me is anytime we see, I want to take this off the table, anytime we see somebody celebrating us, it has to be fake. That bothers me, because what it does to me is it feeds into the narrative as though we're not worthy of being celebrated. I mean, it happens so much. And even as we get into colorism within our own communities, but that's a whole nother story that, constantly, unfortunately, is still being talked about. And I don't know the day that I hope the day comes where we no longer have to have those discussions. But anyway, as we talk about why platforms such as Murad Merali, or why so many were invested in Zeta and Timmy, and, just is because we are yearning for something that simply we don't have enough of. We are looking for these spaces where there is love, where we are celebrated. And because we break each other down so much in so many spaces where we don't value each other's lives, we don't value and listen to each other to understand the knowledge that comes from everybody, because we all have, for as much while we are all together sharing as a race, we all have different backgrounds, things that make us uniquely us. We are culturally different. Spiritually different. There's so many different things that make us different, but still we share that same sense of community, we should share that same sense of community that would allow us to bring all these unique experiences into a space where we can learn from one another. Does that mean we all have to agree? No. But how do we call each other to accountability and love? How can we do that? It's so disappointing. Obviously, with Tyree Nichols, when we look at somebody, we are getting beaten and hunted down by other people, okay? When I look at other places and spaces, we're getting talked about for how we look, we don't have the luxury because I'm not going to say that it's a uniquely Black experience where people, others don't tear each other down, or women, calling each other out their names, all this kind of thing. It happens. But when we are the minority in a lot of these spaces that we're talking about, we do not have the luxury to tear each other down, to not be united. Again, united does not mean that we all agree. United does not mean that I cannot call you out. Call me out. Call whomever if you feel like you have something. But I promise you, if you come at me like by calling me a bitch or calling me saying I'm stupid or fool, and I'm just saying not just me, but I can't even hear you. I can't hear you. And I'm talking about just typing. Like I felt the aggression and anger. But let's say you really do have knowledge to share. If you come at me like that, then naturally people are going to be on the defensive. Now, what I will say is I have grown enough, and I'm not saying that still some stuff doesn't trigger me or hurt my feelings. I am human, but I've gone through enough life that I can sit back for a second and look at it and hear you. And what I will acknowledge, I wish I remember the person's name off the top of my head because I would at them right now, but out of everybody, because I y'all know me, I don't back down. Like, because if I say I welcome us not agreeing, then I fully welcome it. But out of everybody, was one lady in particularly. When I told her, I said, we don't have to agree. And, she went back a few times, back and forth. Well, you're a fool, you this, you that. And I kept saying, like, wow, like, this can't be how you mean to say this, because while we may not agree, like I'm not sharing this community that you keep talking about, I can't hear you. Like I just said, like I can't hear you because of the defense, the passion, the tone that you're taking with me, it doesn't seem to be like you're coming at me like we're sharing this sense of community that you seem to talk about, that I need to help create, or that others need to help create, instead of uplifting these other spaces with racists. Eventually, she was the only one that came, and she turned around. Not that she changed her opinion, because it wasn't my, I was giving my story on why I felt the way I felt about Mariah. It wasn't to necessarily, it was to make people think, but it wasn't necessarily to change people's opinions, because people are allowed to have whatever opinions they have. I was just giving the narrative from my own personal experience, sharing what I felt. So while her opinion did not change, and that is completely okay, she changed her tone. And when she changed her tone, I could hear her and she could hear me, and there was a respect there. We have to get to that place where we know how to do that. And it is not easy. And I'm saying this, I'm not the guru. So again, y'all know I always say I'm not coming at you as the guru. I'm coming at you as a work in progress, somebody walking alongside you, not in front of you, not above you. I am walking with you. We have to find ways and spaces where we can celebrate each other. While there are some, and this is not to diminish or minimize the spaces that are already created, but we need more. And when we have more, we won't keep yearning for these things so badly that sometimes maybe we are fooled, or the wool is pulled over our eyes in many situations, because we already have it. We don't have to keep wanting and desiring it. We'll be able to say, you know what, I can't trust that, because we'll already have it in our own spaces. I told y'all before, I think I've said it, and I certainly know I wrote about it, especially in my comments as it pertained to that whole Mariah video, because there's a lot of the things that I was getting. I said the majority of things that I saw tearing down Zeta, and this goes beyond just Zeta, it goes from other reality shows, from other celebrities, whichever, just it's Black women that look like you and I that are tearing each other down. I mean, down. And I'm just like, man, or we looking when we, and I'm just saying, because we all have to self-check, because we all do it. We are all guilty of it on some level. When we think about, even when we're talking about performers or musicians, and you say, well, I like Beyonce. Oh, well, I like Rihanna. I like Cardi. Well, I like Nicki. Why do we pick? We have been so conditioned to, well, y'all know, because we did Zeta and Bria. A lot of people like, and again, it doesn't mean, because sometimes you just simply don't like the other person. That is fine. But we turn it into a nitpicking contest. We turn it into, well, because you said you like that person, I'm going to show you exactly why. I'm going to break this person down. Now, there's sometimes what the people are saying when they're breaking stuff down. Is it true? Yes. Okay. I'm not going to pretend like it's not. But how can we do it in love? How can we do it? Because, and I'll use myself for example. I was not a Bria fan, and it wasn't that, didn't have anything to do with it to me, honestly. I did not love her attitude, how it was portrayed on the show. Now, whether it was real or not, I didn't love it, even separate from the whole situation as that goes. But did she deserve to be called? I told y'all that, no. And I think I said in one of my videos, I wish she would have done this. I wish she wouldn't have isolated. I wish, and again, this is not to go down a rat hole about Bria, because don't y'all come in the comments, because it's bigger than that, y'all. It's about how can we do this? How can we take the steps to have those conversations without tearing one another down? So I challenge all of us, meet me in the comments if you got ideas. But I really genuinely hope, as we continue to grow this space, that it is a safe space where you feel safe to say whatever you want, and to know that your sister, your brother, if there's somebody's in the comments, that we are going to uplift one another. If we come at you and we disagree, we're not going to come at you aggressive with hate. I'm going to come at you. And because when you want to make a point, and you have the facts, or you know what, and I say facts, opinions, whatever you're feeling to back it up. You don't need all the anger. Just simply say what you have to say and tell it without calling or making assumptions about somebody. Because the truth is, we don't know one another. But you know what? There's so much that's probably so similar about us, or similar experiences, similar things that we share, that when we come at each other saying, well, you know, you this, you that, you, automatically, how my heart's not open. So when we come in love, and again, it's just stripping out that fear of feeling to need, letting our egos be on top. Our egos stop us from really sharing these special spaces and experiences with one another where we can really uplift our community. Because when we do that, I promise you, we will be a force to be reckoned with. Because again, it will be no room for the foolishness. It will be no room for the wool to be covered, you know, to be pulled over our eyes, because we'll be walking in unity. And once we can learn that, guys, I think we will achieve so many different things. So again, I welcome you into this space. I welcome you to know that this is a safe space to have honest conversations, to disagree, call each other out, call each other to accountability, do it in love and genuinely, and just see it. Everybody's not going to change in a day, but see how it changes the narrative. See how you're able to speak and learn from one another. See how it will change your day and someone else's. But see how we can really lean into each other when we do that. So I challenge you guys to do that, to strip away the fears of ego. That is what I'm calling my thing today, is fear of egos. I, too, myself, will be walking in it. So call me out if you want to, guys. I welcome it. Don't call me out of my name, please. But if you do, I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to come at you in love. I might write some things on my phone or in my little diary, like Moesha, but I'm not going to call you out to your face, because I don't have to, guys, because it's all in love, guys. So continue to walk in love. Let's embrace each other, and let's have some honest conversations. I cannot wait to see you guys in the comments. I love you guys. Let's keep walking in love. More videos coming soon. Guys, have a great night.